Yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's hope that we don't have a chat situation like this time. There we are, live chat. There we go. There we go, just in case. Just so we don't miss out any chat like we did last time. But yes. Oh. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, people of the YouTube world. Good morning. Whether you're up having your breakfast, listening in, laying back, whatever. Good morning, as always, to everyone joining us today. And welcome to, as always, the Good Morning Walk. It is, as always, fantastic to see and hear from you all. Oh, God, no. I'm not seeing any chat messages now, so I'm like, oh no, has it happened again? Has it happened again? Oh no, please don't do this again. Oh no, there we are. There we are, we've got some now. So, Ingrid, good morning from Austria. Good morning to you. Ben, good morning to you. How much worse could things get? Great videos yesterday. Oh, well, thank you. We're going to be talking about some of that stuff this morning. CT, good morning to you. Helen, good morning to you. Loki, good morning to you from Northumbria. Mecklenburg, good morning to you. Brian, good morning to you from Ghent in Belgium. Good morning to you. Cathal OG, good morning to you as well. Oh, hang on, there we go. Oh, there we go. 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 So, yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. One and all. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, Hank, good morning to you as well. But yes, good morning to you one and all. Welcome, as always, to the Good Morning Walk. And welcome to the wonderful wilds, to the wonderful outdoors on YouTube. As far as I know, the only politics talking channel that takes you outdoors. So, as always, good morning to you, one and all. Welcome. It's going to be fun. Why is the UK in chaos? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, Ben Truss has said some very discerning things of late. The rhetoric, very true. Oh, Tom, good morning to you. Oh, Cathal G, welcome. Join the Pony Club. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fresh outdoor politics, Tesco fresh. Very true. So, let's start off with Truss's. You are quite right. Let's start off with some generally somewhat quite concerning rhetoric. Liz Truss said this week that the jury was out on whether France was to be UK's friend or not. You know? Oh, hi from Brussels. Good morning to you. Oh, I didn't see you there. Who is that? Tiger, good morning to you. Loyster charge. Loyster charge for the black horse for a black pony. I think the two married to that, to be honest. It's the logo for them for years. Cathonic, good morning to you. Oh, Ben, good morning to you. Welcome to the Pony Club as well. Liz Trump, very true. Planetary Citizen, good morning to you as well. Hello from Hastings, good morning to you. But yeah, this rhetoric was incredibly bad. Incredibly bad. Oh, Factgasm, greetings to you from Bali. But yeah, this comment from Truss was oh, good Lord. Yeah, the fact that she actually went out and said, yeah, jury's out. What do you mean the jury's out on whether or not the UK and France are friends? It seems she's deciding to, employ the Blackadder the Third School of Foreign Policy. Tougher sentences for geography teachers and war with France. What? But that seems to be the way that she's going. And it's really worrying that you are trying to be so antagonistic with France. Really worrying, to be honest. And then you have to give credit to Macron, Macron comes out. Incredibly classy comeback. Saying that, the UK and France are friends, sometimes even despite, what the UK's leaders might say. I say what you like about Macron, but I'll tell you what, that was a classy comeback. That was a super classy comeback on there. And it is worrying, the fact that we are seeing this rise in Eurosceptic, this reach for Eurosceptics, for stuff like that. But that was essentially the reach for the audience that she's reaching to. You've got to remember, all this Tory leadership contest is to the 2,000 odd Tory members that are voting for her. And as we've said before, she's won this. She's won. And I think it's not even going to be close. It's not going to be close. I think we are probably going to be looking at probably something like a 30-60 split towards Truss. I really think we do. And you can tell that. You can tell now that a lot of people in the Tory party, a lot of people are suddenly starting to panic and going, oh no, we've elected Liz Truss. What are we doing? And Liz Truss is going to have her own set of problems. Because remember the first round of this contest. The first round, Rishi Sunak was clearly in the lead. He was the MP's choice, or at least the majority of MP's choices within the Conservative Party. The reason why this contest went on for so long was that the far right vote got split 3 to 4 ways. That's why this contest went on for as long as it did. And I think that because you have this contest that went on for so long, seemed to deny almost the fact that, it was going to be this. Oh, hang on. We've got a cow. Come on. Are you not going? I'm going. I'm just going around you. There you go. So the idea that you have this contest that tried to deny the fact that Truss is going to have a myriad of problems as soon as she gets in, because she's being backed very obviously now by the ERG, and the right wing of the party are desperately trying to make an appeal to all of the party in this by saying, look, don't worry about Liz Truss, because we're going to do what should have been done with Boris. That we're going to surround her with a good team and a good set of people. So it doesn't matter that effectively she's awful, but she's going to be surrounded by, you know, good people. And of course, good people means essentially ERG, shall we say, approved advisors, and of course, members of the ERG themselves. We are expecting, or at least the rumour almost, I think, can be confirmed at this point, that, you know, we think that Kersey Kwarteng might be her treasury. There's still obviously, you know, the jury is still out on that one, whether or not John Redwood might get that position or not. But it will be interesting. But she's going to go in and probably have a cabinet reshuffle within the first sort of couple of few weeks. And one of the things that I think is going to end up disappearing, or at least a ministerial position that ends up disappearing, will be the Brexit benefits position. Absolutely, the Brexit benefits position by Jacob Rees-Mogg, I think is going to get abandoned purely for the fact that it has become embarrassing, that they know they can't have any Brexit benefits on the table. They do not have them on the table, and it's embarrassing when you've got a minister who's meant to be going out and talking and crowing about all these, you know, fantastic Brexit benefits, that he can't find them. So ultimately, I think that position is going to go. Will Jacob stay in cabinet? Absolutely. I think he's been tipped for a number 10 trade, say, Secretary of International Trade. That would sort of maybe make sense, but we'll have to see where he ends up, of course. It's still all speculation. There's rumours that he's going to be the levelling up minister as well going around. So that will be interesting. You know, Jacob Rees-Mogg being in charge of the, you know, Minister for Levelling Up. But anyway, we've got back off topic. Yeah, this contest is not going to be close at all. And I think Liz Truss has huge trouble, because you've got a huge section of Tories who do not want Liz Truss, who realise she is the worst of all possible candidates to have in there. So she is not going to be liked from day one. Oh, Mitch, good morning to you. So she is not going to be liked from day one by a large portion of her own party. And when that happens, she will be relying on the ERG for support, you know, to prop her up, to be the thing that, you know, keeps her in power. And that was the mistake that Johnson made, thinking that that part of the party was going to keep him in power. But even then, by that point, with his shenanigans, they'd had enough. Oh, Fox, good morning to you. So even by then, they'd had enough of Johnson's own shenanigans. So, and that means she's going to be even more of a puppet to the ERG and to sort of the right wing of the party than even Boris Johnson was. You know, they will tell her to jump, and Liz Truss will reply, how high? And can I get a good photo opportunity out of it? But yeah, crazy times in the UK. Crazy times indeed. And it is, you know, if you saw my my video on Friday as well, the panic in the Tory party, there are those members who are panicking that Liz Truss is about to be made, PM. And we read that, we went through the article from, Conservative Home, going, don't believe all the hype from Liz Truss. We went through that first article right at the start of all this with one of the, bigwigs on the blog saying, for the love of God, please do not elect a populist. And that's exactly what the party is about to do, because that's all Liz Truss has done, just invested in populism non-stop throughout all this contest. And I think the more that happens, the more she becomes sort of this thrall and puppet of the ERG. Oh my. Oh. Don't know if you can see him, cows on the other side of the river. Yeah, populists rarely remain popular. You are right there. You are right there, Tom. I think it was Tom. Yeah, Tom, yeah. You are right. Purely for the fact that Liz Truss is heading into a very difficult period. A very, very difficult period indeed. And her rhetoric is not going to be able to match, or at least meet the expectations and the economic reality of, of what the party is. So you are going to have, I think, it's going to be interesting to watch how quickly Liz Truss implodes, as Dominic Cummings has put it. I think he's right. I think, I tweeted at him again because I'd love to have a talk with Dominic Cummings. I mean, oh my God. Like, not even to have a go at him. I don't want to have a go at him. I generally just want to pick his brain. Like, I generally just want to ask him, like, questions about what he thinks is going on and what his view of, like, what's going on in the Tory party. I generally just love to pick his brain on that. I think it would be an absolutely fascinating conversation to have. I don't even care that it's Dominic Cummings. Because I think he would have such an interesting insight and take on that. I really think he would. And I think the more, the more he says stuff the more interesting I think that conversation becomes, because I think he's holding a ton of stuff back, because come not only the COVID inquiry, but also Boris Johnson's own inquiry, it's very likely he will be giving evidence again very soon. And if you remember the last time, you know, he was meant to give only like an hour's, you know, I think it was 2 hours it'd been scheduled he was meant to give evidence, and it turned into this absolute marathon of this is what's going on in, you know, in number 10. It's absolute chaos. And, you know, the more he says and talks about how bad Liz Truss is and about what her working patterns are, and it's not even just, you know, coming from Dominic Cummings, it's coming from other people in her department that are saying, you know, or these departments that they've worked with in Liz Truss saying, you know, this is how bad Liz Truss actually is. And yet, here she is, less than a week away, and she is going to be Prime Minister. I think anyone thinking, or at least praying, that somehow, you know, Rishi Sunak pulls this out of the bag, I think they're delusional. And don't get me wrong, if by some miracle, you know, I'm wrong about all this, and Sunak wins, you know, great, because it means we don't have, you know, the insanity and right-wing control by the ERG in the party, at least immediately, but they will make their presence felt. They will make their presence felt very quickly. How long will it take for Truss to resign? Who knows? Who knows on that one? A lot of the, you know, I keep on saying it's November. You know, it's November when all this kicks off. And even if Sunak manages to win, it's you know, it still applies for him as well. November's when all these crises all come together and will just explode all over the Tory party. And I think that's when a lot of people will wake up and realize that they have been the ones in the power for, you know, over 12 years at this point. And there's no one else to blame but them. You know, the economy is in such a state because of them. They promised the earth and all these, you know, fabulous benefits, but don't really tell the people what they actually intended to do when they got this newfound freedom that they had achieved from the EU. Bakura, what the hell did Truss be being by the jury's still out? Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning, Bakura. Yeah, it's generally quite crazy. I mean, especially when you consider that. Oh, hang on. This could be interesting. This could be interesting to get past. So we'll see if we can get past these just quietly. Oh no, he's hissing at me already. I just want to get by. Do I just run by, or do I just take it slowly and then run? just want to get by, that's all. I just want to get by. There we go. There we go, that's it. That's it, there we go. There we go, like I say, steady but surely we managed to get past them. So yeah, that rhetoric's really worrying. But then a lot of people are saying she's saying that because she's hoping that that Le Pen wins big in the next couple of general elections. But even then, even if Le Pen wins, you know, I've said this before, France, in terms of its you know, political activity and actions, they ain't gonna let Le Pen get away with anything, you know. And trust me, they will mobilize to crack down on Le Pen, and Le Pen will not be able to do a damn thing. You know, even if she did get in, or even if she does, you know, manage to make some sort of impact. But, and like I say, that's because I sort of trust the French a lot more, because they are a lot more politically active as a populace. They are a lot more politically informed than we are in the UK. So yeah, as I've said before many times, I always have faith that, you know, the French will en masse very much reject sort of Le Pen and her ideologies on that front. But yeah, interesting times. Like I say, the leadership contest at this point, you know, it's over, you know, pretty much. You know, postal votes already have to have been sent in now. It's down to sort of digital voting for anything to take place. So, and then we're now waiting for the 5th of September to essentially Truss be crowned. Bakura, wait, Truss wants Le Pen in power? That's even more disturbing. Are the Tories just pure evil at this point? Yeah. Yeah. It's because they want another ally in the continent, really, that will, at least they're hoping, would support their crazy nonsense in this, because it actually hasn't been reported a lot in the news, but Le Pen has actually been very supportive of Truss's moves and the moves that the UK has made in and around sort of the Good Friday Agreement, based on, well, you know, it's a sovereign territory of the UK, and, you know, they should get to make the rules and the choices, not, you know, all the stuff that they made on that. Yeah, Alex, yeah, it would be fast if they did use the Tory Thunderdome. That's very true. Would have been a lot faster. Would have been a lot faster if they had just done this, you know, Thunderdome style. But of course, we've had increase in energy prices as well. And that really is the number one concern, I think, on a lot of people's minds. And it's been shocking when you've heard, you know, people asking questions. But that was the, you know, that was the sort of the point. Most of the Tory members do not really care about the cost of living crisis, because mostly it's not going to affect them. However, it will affect them when it comes to businesses on this. Oh, Tesco, well, good morning from a very sunny Switzerland. Well, good morning to you. Oh, Bakura, there's no introspection from the Tories about when a white nationalist is supporting them. Yeah, exactly. There is no introspection at all because they are just going to be completely crazy like that. But that's the state that the Tory party has gotten into. It's fallen very, very much into a, nationalistic sort of way in a party. And one of the things I've said I'm quite worried about is you hear all this support, that households are going to get during the winter, which is fine. Households deserve all the support they can get, especially, those who are worse off, who can't sort of, afford to pay for it. That's good that they are getting that support. But you don't hear, oh, Cavaland, good morning to you. But you don't hear the support that, businesses need. What if you're a business that, one of the people that I've done work for recently, they're a food business. They're in the food, industry, and they've got a big freezer, and the costs for that freezer are astronomical. And how are they going to survive the winter when they've got to have that freezer on, or else their produce is going to go off? There's no help or support for them. There's no help or support for, increased support for the NHS. There's nothing for them whatsoever during this time. And one of the worrying things is there's nothing for schools either. In fact, we've actually had I actually saw the headmaster of Eton. He wrote a blog, and yeah, he's headmaster of Eton, but I'll tell you what, he called this out exactly right, calling out the fact that the Tories' education policy is in an absolute mess, because he's seen in 7 years we've had 7 different ministers in charge of education. That is averaging about 1 a year. And we saw, especially during the pandemic, that schools were crying out for support. We need all this extra money so that we can, get pupils into schools more safely, to have, ventilation systems, to make sure we've got all this, safety in place. I've got, several friends who are teachers. They all say it. There was no safety put in place. And I know teachers who caught COVID multiple times in this. And one of them said, one of the oldest teachers that was there got forced into early retirement because they got long COVID. And because it was affecting them that much, they were having problems, standing up. For that amount of time in front of the, in front of the class. That's a big problem. That's a very, very big problem if you've got that. And it's not just the fact that you could have schools not having heating, which, if you think about that, you could have classes full of kids sat in the midst of winter, freezing. How do you think that's going to affect, the learning potential of these kids? And of course, it's not going to help them one bit. It's not going to help them one bit at all. And the worst part is, while there's all this focus, quite rightly, on, sort of households and how households are going to survive this winter, which, don't get me wrong, is quite rightly deserved and certainly needs to be, attention brought to. But it shocks me. Very, very few people are talking about the fact that there is no support for businesses. If you've got if you're part of like if you've got a business that consumes a lot of energy, that's going to be bad. Yeah. How do you think cutting COVID every year is going to affect the nervous system? Yeah, exactly. There's no support for small businesses. There's no support for medium businesses. What happens if you've got this winter mass economic problems where you've got businesses laying off people or even having to, go bankrupt because of energy bills? I think that's going to be a big problem this winter. I really do. And that is going to be on the fact that the government just has not offered any sort of support to businesses. And when that starts to happen, and you start to get businesses, closed down, and all of this, it's really shocking. Yeah, Cathlo G, that was it. 7 in 10 pubs don't think they'll survive the winter. 7 in 10. That's a lot of pubs that we could see, closed down. And already, the hospitality industry is having a lot of problems. Is having a lot of problems trying to sort of recover from COVID. And kitchens take up a lot of energy. So why isn't the government offering them support? Where's the support for, more businesses? Why aren't we seeing that? It just goes to show you just how short-sighted, this government has become at this point. It can't even think. Oh, hang on, there we go. Let's do this on the lens. There we go. Can't even think beyond the fact that it might need to support businesses in the UK because of all these high energy prices. And then, of course, you've got no support for schools. What do you do if you're a head teacher and you've got this massive energy bill, heating for your school? What do? Do you just turn off the heating, and then what happens to the kids? And then what happens to the NHS? The fact that the NHS budget needs to be increased, not to be able to sort of, give it more money, but it needs to be increased, I think, by about 20% just to keep up with inflation. No help there either. And the thing is, I always love it. I always love this excuse. The idea, because Tories will always crow, that we are this incredibly rich country. We've got all this wealth in the country and we can do all this stuff. But every single time you even talk about this, well, we can't do that because it might be an economic disaster, might be economic troubles. We can't give people, higher wages, economic troubles. No, we can absolutely help people. And we should absolutely help people. And there is wealth in this country. It just needs to be taxed more. We need to tackle the tax havens. We need to tackle, we need to charge, businesses the appropriate amount of corporate tax, not lower it to next to nothing, as the Tories recently seem to want to do. And you can do so much to help people in this most, in what is going to be a very, very dangerous time, but they don't seem to want to offer any aid whatsoever to anyone. Instead, their answers are, well, let's lower taxes because that will, somehow help when we need, government spending to be able to help people, and then not do it. And I agree that there's been a lot of calls to sort of nationalize the energy industry. And let's be very clear. Any energy company that needs help during this winter or has to ask for government aid or assistance at that point is a failed business. And what should be done at that point is any energy company, when that happens, gets taken in to public ownership. That's what should happen. Now, and from many of my videos, I've not always been the biggest advocate for nationalization. Steve Baker for a cabinet position. Not too impossible, to be honest. It's not too impossible, It's not that improbable, sad to say. But yeah, we are going to go in to a couple of months, and November is where it all kicks off. And I keep on telling you, I am worried about how this all goes down. I am very, very worried. Very, very worried. I mean, yeah, 12 years and the Tories have done nothing. Bravo to that woman. Bravo to that woman who challenged the health secretary on that. Talk about, the Tories not understanding the mood in the country. She got that 100% right on that. And there are ideas out there that we can do. We've talked about them on this channel a couple of times. Don't know if you can. His hairstyle looks a bit like Boris Johnson. Boris Pony. But yeah, I think we're entering into a situation where we've got this incredibly right-wing government who aren't going to offer any type of serious help or serious intervention that the country needs. Bola Hatmo from Bakuria, getting close to a revolution, and people needlessly die in a revolution. I don't think we're going to end up in a revolution. I don't think that's on the cards. I don't think it's going to go that far. Might they be pushed into an early general election against their will? Possibly. But as I've said a number of times, the Tories do not want to go into a general election. They've got at least another 2 years before they actually have to call a general election. And until that happens, they're not really interested in having one up until that point. Why? Because they've got all the power. They've got a massive majority. Why on earth would the Tory party call a general election? Simple is they don't want one. That's the straight up fact. All right. I do love this little pony here. He's got a white mane and then he's got like a ginger tuft at the end. And then, of course, we've got another mass series of strikes going on. We've got, the criminal barristers go on indefinite strike on the 5th of April. How's Truss going to respond to that? As the criminal justice system shuts down because the government will not pay barristers. And as a result of this low pay, by the way, I think it's 22% of junior barristers end up quitting. That's a lot of people to lose. That's a lot of people to lose in 1 year. And then how can you have a functioning, criminal justice system when you've got, no one to run the courts, no one to defend people? And of course, the other point about this strike is also goes into legal aid. Legal aid should be massively important. If we get rid, or legal aid goes down as low as it is, the Tories are basically saying, well, justice is only for those who can afford it, which basically means if you're poor, you don't get a lawyer, you don't get representation. And that's not how the system should be run at all. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. It's been fantastic as always for you. Like I say, please do remember to hit that like button on your way out, and of course the share button as well. And down below there are links to my Patreon page where you can support the channel that way. There's also the Pony Club as well, where you can support the channel that way. There is also the thank you button, I believe, as well. And of course, there's the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, thank you very much to everyone for joining us today on the Good Morning Walk. We'll see you next Wednesday for the our Wednesday live stream. As always, we've got videos coming out as always during the week as well, so watch out for those. So enjoy your weekend. As always, if you can't be safe, be sensible. And have an absolutely smashing bank holiday weekend if you are in the UK. So enjoy your long weekend if you've got it. So go out, enjoy it. It's going to be a fun weekend. It looks like it's going to be very, very hot this weekend as well, by the looks of it, just looking at the weather already, which is going to be fantastic. But as always, go out, have fun. Oh yes, leave a comment in the description below, as always. As always, we'll see you all next time for another Good Morning Walk.